Hello and or welcome back to another edition of McKay Yoga. Kind of getting a little bit of a late start today. We're going to do a neutrally rotated, meaning how the thigh bones are in the hip socket, practice today. I'm prepping for a Yoga Works teacher training. So if you ever were interested in doing a teacher training, or maybe you thought about becoming a teacher, a yoga training is a good way to go. So over the next course of the 6 weeks, I will be adding content that's kind of workshop-y and really kind of delving into individual poses and how you can do various different poses from standing, from reclined, using a wall, using a bench, using a chair. So if you have a mat, great. If you have a little bit of wall space, great. Now, what if you didn't have any wall space? You could still do the same thing laying on the floor. You just wouldn't have anything for your feet to press in. If you had a couple of blocks, you could put your feet against the blocks, or maybe just like a bench, or maybe like a low stool or something like that. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, that beautiful red button. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this sort of content, and then hit that notification bell if you want to go live with me. I'm going live on Fridays now because that's a freer day, and then it could change as time goes forward. So join me, recline. So let me show you, we're going to really focus on Tadasana. We're focusing on the neutrally rotated poses, and what I mean by that is how the thigh bones are oriented in the hip socket. I'm going to show you what it looks like at the wall, and then I'm going to show you just reclined. So if you have a wall space, you would press your feet into the wall and then have all 10 toes pointing straight out, right? And then the wall gives you feedback, because you'll notice if your feet are parallel or turning out or turning in, you want them to be parallel. So if you have a wall space, you can do it that way. Now, if you don't have a wall space, you're going to do it like I'm doing, this recline, but then you have to really be active with the legs, right? So you have to really make sure that the legs are not going to drift apart. Having a block and a strap is going to be really good. So if you have a block and a strap, great. Lay on your backs, and we'll start to create Tadasana here. So your feet would be like the first platform, your hips the second platform, and the third platform, your shoulders. So imagine your feet were on the floor. You would press evenly across the four corners of each foot. So like I showed at the wall, you wouldn't let your feet turn out or in. They would be evenly pressing onto the mat. Now your feet are going to protect your knees and your ankles, and then your hips are going to protect your lower back, and your shoulders are going to protect your neck. Right? And so here we are in Tadasana, recline. Right? So if you can imprint Tadasana from laying down, you can imprint it from standing up. Right? So there's our first look at Tadasana. Now, in keeping with this neutral theme, let's move the legs a little bit, utilizing the strap, and still keep the legs neutral. So I'm going to come up and grab the strap. And then once you get your strap, go ahead, lay back down, hug your right knee in, and take that strap across the archway of your right foot. And then exhale, extend that right leg up to the ceiling. So your right thigh bone is going right into the hip socket. It's straight. Your leg is not turning in. It's not turning out. Your right arm bone into the arm socket, right thigh bone into the hip socket. It's a way of doing hand to big toe, but recline. If you start your postures reclined, it will help you to build and have them be done better while standing. So that's kind of another reoccurring thing. This is also really good if you're just newer to yoga. Try to do things from a reclined position. I have a few videos for beginners, but you can use this video to kind of like, let me see how far I can go into yoga. And then bend your right knee, release the strap, extend the legs forward and straight. You're right back to your Tadasana. Then hug the left knee in. Extend the left leg up to the ceiling. And then draw that left thigh bone into the hip socket. So holding onto the strap with your left hand, your left arm is straight, your left leg is straight, flexing both feet as if you were standing on the ground, both sitting bones evenly pressing down, right? Chin slightly tucked, crown of the head reaching to the space that's beyond it. Stay here, inhale. And then exhale, bend your knee, extend the legs forward and straight. And then let's also think about arms overhead in Tadasana. So imagine you had a block in between your hands. We're going to do that in a little bit. And then start to take your arms overhead. Did your front ribs lift up to the ceiling? Draw them back in. So that means you might not be able to take the arms all the way overhead, and that's okay. But this is a way of doing arms raised in Tadasana Mountain Pose. Stay here, inhale. Then exhale, release the arms by your sides. Hug your knees into your chest, rock a little bit from side to side. Take your right arm overhead, roll to your right side. Use the ground, push the floor away. And then we're going to come up to all fours, hands and knees. Cat-cow position. Have your strap and your block close by. And think about neutral spine. So from an all fours position, you can create a neutral spine, meaning your upper back, mid back, low back are sharing their natural curve, right? And then as you inhale, lift the heart, lift the chest. As you exhale, round your spine. So you're just doming the upper back, going through rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, heart forward, chest forward. Exhale, slowly round. Inhale, draw your heart forward, lift the chest, lift the chin. Exhale, round your spine. Let's do two more just like that. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale to round. And then one more time. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, round, pause. Bring your bottom to your heels, coming into child's pose. Now lift your head up and look towards your arms and make sure your arms are straight. Separate your hands to the width of your shoulders. And then inhale, shift your weight forward. I'm going to use these pads because my arms are slippery from the motion. Pardon me, shift your weight forward. Curl your toes under, lift your knees off the mat, coming into downward dog pose. So even in downward dog pose, your legs are neutral in the hip sockets. Move your heart towards your thighs and your thighs towards the space that's behind them. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. Come to the back edge of your mat in a forward fold. Taking off the socks because I'm warmer now. And notice your forward fold. Can you keep your hips over your knees over your ankles? And lengthen your chest forward. Okay? And then walk back out to down dog. Find a block. I'll use this one today. And place that block at the inner thighs. And come back to downward dog. And notice the work that you're creating in the inner thighs. You're firming onto that block. You're pressing your thighs back, lengthening the inner and outer heels towards the mat. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, cruise those hands back towards the feet. Let's come back to Uttanasana. Now, what if you were able to get your hands onto the floor? Then I would say have your hands on blocks or a bench. Take an inhale to lift the heart, lift the chest. Exhale to bow and fold. Keep a good squeeze of that block. Inhale, lengthen, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bow, fold forward, Uttanasana. Take your hands to your outer hips. Inhale, come up to stand up. And then exhale, release your arms to your sides. Pause. Come towards like the center portion of your mat. Keep a good squeeze of the block. If you are lucky enough to have more than one block, I have 3. Grab your other block and hold on to, I'll show you from the side, then I'll show you forward. Hold on to the block like so. So the heel of my hand is pressing onto the skinny side of the block. My fingers are not gripping the block. My thumbs are pointing up. The other fingertips are pointing forward. So let's create that work we did laying on our backs in Tadasana with the arms raised overhead. Urdhva Hastasana. And I'll show you from side. Inhale, raise the arms, lift up. Lengthen the lower back towards the mat. Press the heels of your hands into that block and keep a good squeeze of the block at the inner thighs and at the heels of the hands. Stay here, inhale. And then exhale, lower the block down. I'll show you from forward. Press into the block at the inner thighs and at the heels of your hands. And inhale, raise the brick. Keep a good squeeze of the block. So you're firming your biceps and your triceps in, right? Stay here, inhale. And then exhale, release the hands down or release your arms down. And then bring your blocks, place them to one side. And can you find Tadasana from here? So you're pressing into the 4 corners of each foot. Your kneecaps are lifted, your quads are lifted. The lower back is lengthening to the mat. Your heart and chest lift up. Your shoulders roll back and down. Chin level with the ground, crown of the head reaching up. Now, even though you don't have that block at the inner thighs, firm your inner thighs. And as you inhale, raise your arms, creating that work of Urdhva Hastasana or Utthita Hasta in Tadasana. Arms raised in mountain pose. And then exhale, resist the arms down as you come back to Tadasana. Now let's do some half sun salutes. Inhale, reach the arms up, look up. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale to bow and fold back down. Press down into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. And then exhale back to your center. Center could be hands at heart or arms by your sides. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms up, look up. Exhale, hinge from your hips, bow, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward. Exhale to fold back down. Press down into your feet. Inhale, reach your arms up, look up. And then exhale back to your center. We're going to add on to that. As you inhale, reach the arms up, look up. As you exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, plant your palms, take your feet backwards. Shift the weight forward, bend your elbows. Inhale to up dog. You, of course, could take cobra if that's better for you. Exhale, draw back to downward dog. So press your thighs back, lengthen the inner and outer heels towards the mat. Try to root through the entire circumference of your hands. Like you did in arms raised in Tadasana, firm your biceps and your triceps to the bone. Keep your neck even on all sides. Draw the navel in and up towards the spine. Take an inhale here. Then when you exhale, bring your feet forward. Oopsie, sorry. Lift your chest, inhale. Fold back down, exhale. Press down into your feet. Inhale, raise your arms up, look up. And then exhale back to center. And notice the heat you're generating. So we did a few half sun salutes. We did Tadasana, we did Uttanasana. And these poses, this movement is creating heat. I'm taking off layers now, taking off layers. We're going to do one more sun salute A, right? Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, plant your palms, take your feet backwards. You can step to plank like I'm doing, or you can jump to chaturanga, which is to land here. Inhale, up dog. Exhale to down dog. Take a few breaths in your down dog. Head is hanging, your neck is even on all sides. Fingertips pressing down, knuckles pressing down, even the webbing between each finger pressing down. As you lift your kneecaps, lift your quads, spin your inner thighs back, lengthen the lower back towards the mat without like overly arching or overly tucking in your lower back and sacrum. Take an inhale here. And then when you exhale, bring your feet forward. Lift your heart, inhale. Bow and fold, exhale. Press down into your feet, inhale, reach up, look up. And then exhale back to center. Even though it's a neutral focus, it's a good idea to do a little bit of external rotation. So I'll explain the difference, but it's a little bit of a better idea to do hip openers before you do the neutrals. It's just easier because our body naturally wants to roll out. So we'll just do a warrior two. You can take your legs wide apart. And so when you're talking about externals, you're externally rotating the thigh bone in the hip socket. So you're turning the whole leg out. So externally rotate the whole right leg in the hip socket. If you just move the foot, the knee won't come along and you won't get that rotation from the hip socket. Align your right heel with your left arch. Open up your arms to the height of your shoulders. Bend your knee. Inhale, exhale, warrior two. Draw the belly in. Lengthen your lower back towards the mat. Imagine you had something resting on your shoulders. And then I just noticed that my chest was moving too far forward. So bring your chest back. Stay here. Inhale. Exhale, straighten out your right knee. Release the arms parallel the legs. Not holding super long because that's not our focus today for this video. So turn your whole left leg out, turning from the hip socket. And bend your left knee. Line up your left heel with your right arch. Open up your arms to the height of your shoulders. Inhale, exhale, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. Stack each vertebrae evenly on top of one another. As the lower back reaches down, the crown of the head reaches up. Stay here, inhale. Then exhale, straighten out your left knee. Release your arms, parallel your legs. So now we're going into Pasarita Padottanasana A. All 10 toes are pointing forward. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Bring your hands to the floor, to your blocks. Now inhale, lift the heart, lift the chest. Exhale, bow and fold. So ideally, your hands would be in line with your feet. Outside edges of the feet parallel to front and back edge of the mat. Lift the arches of your feet, hug your outer ankle bones in. Imagine your feet were like cars, and your cars have 4 wheels. You're balanced across the 4 corners of each foot. Your kneecaps lift up, your quads lift up. Imaginary block in between your elbows. The arms are replicating chaturanga. Push into the ground, let the shoulder blades move away from your head, let them move up towards your waist, draw the navel in and up towards the spine. Firm your outer hips in, draw the navel in, keep breathing in and out through your nose. Bring your hands to your outer hips, pause. Draw the belly in, lead with your upper back. Inhale, come up to stand up. And then exhale, join your feet together. Utkatasana, chair pose. That's what the kids call it on the street, but its translation is mighty, fierce pose, right? So you're gonna take your butt like we did in Tadasana at the inner thighs, right? Good squeeze of that block. Inhale, bend your knees, arms up, Utkatasana. Now your heels have a lot of weight, your toes are light. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. I'll show you side view. Bend your knees, arms up, Utkatasana. Good squeeze of that block. Heavy heels, toes light. Exhale, fold from the ground up. Bend the knees. Try to get the backs of the knees in line with the sitting bones. Reach your arms backwards like you're a bobsledder. Then reach the arms forward. Utkatasana chair pose, mighty, fierce pose. And then exhale, stand, pause, and breathe. So Utkatasana generates a lot of heat. Come back to Tadasana. Press the four corners of each foot down. Lift the kneecaps, lift the quads, keep a good squeeze of the block. Lift the heart and chest up, stack each vertebrae on top of one another evenly. Roll your shoulders back and down, chin level with the ground. Tadasana. Remove the block, place it to one side. Bring your hands to your outer hips. Lift your heart, inhale. Hinge from your hips, bow, fold forward, exhale. So you generated a lot of heat. Now we're going into a forward fold to do a little bit of cooling. Index finger, middle finger, and thumb are hooking onto the big toe. Lift your chest, inhale. Hollow your belly, fold, exhale. Let the head hang. So I'll show you from the side. Try to keep your hips over your knees over your ankles. You want to keep the body really stacked and aligned to protect the joints. Think about, when you're constructing a home, if the foundation is not there, the house is not going to be steady. Lengthen the chest forward, inhale. Hollow the belly, fold deeper, exhale. Bring your hands to your outer hips, draw the belly in, inhale, come up to stand up. Exhale, release the arms, join your feet back together, pause. Recreate Tadasana, grounded across the four corners of each foot. Kneecaps lifted, quads lifted, lower back lengthening to the mat, sacrum drawing in, belly drawing in. Stacking each vertebrae on top of one another, allow the crown of the head to reach up, chin level with the ground, neck staying even on all sides. Tadasana. Tadasana is the blueprint of all of our standing poses. So if you can keep elements of Tadasana in all of your standing poses, you're going to be okay. Let's wind it down now. Without the block, inhale, bend your knees, arms up, Utkatasana, chair. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen your chest, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your palms, either plank. In this case, I'm going to do Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take a few breaths here. Lift your kneecaps, lift your quads. Spin the upper arms away from your ears. Smooth, steady inhales. Smooth, steady exhales. Stay here. One more breath. Then exhale, lower your knees down. Pause and breathe. You can sit on your feet or in between your feet. Both of those would be neutral because the thigh bones are neutral as they go into the pelvis. Stack the vertebrae evenly on top of one another, meaning even though you're sitting, you're still sitting up tall. Can you create elements of Tadasana even here in this seated posture? Belly drawing in, sacrum drawing in, tops of the feet pressing down, inner and outer arches lifted. And just observe the quality of your breathing. Observe the quality of your mind. Draw your chin towards the top of your chest, inhale. Then exhale, bring your chin so it's level with the mat. Pause and breathe. And then just a little bit with the shoulders, take your arms out to the height of your shoulders, inhale. Exhale, cross your right arm over your left, lift the forearms up. Keep the belly drawing in and breathe into that space that's in between your shoulder blades. Inhale, open the arms up. Exhale, cross left arm on top of right. Lift the forearms up, lift the elbows up. Inhale. Exhale, open your arms up. Release the arms down. Pause, breathe. Stay here, inhale. Stay here, exhale. Thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube community. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to put that in the chat. Again, don't forget to hit that red button to subscribe, the notification bell, so you can get notified of anything that's happening with me at Michelle McKay Yoga. And give it a thumbs up if you like this video. And those of you who are thinking about doing a teacher training, send me a message. All right, yogis. Peace out and ciao for now.